How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Supa coming to you guys with a bit of a Arena Commander update, if you would. So, I know this is a bit late, but in my last Star Citizen video I was talking about version 0.9 for Arena Commander being just over the horizon. And I'd figure I'd make a new one to share some of my thoughts since it has launched. So, what came with the much-awaited version 0.9 of Arena Commander? First of all, 2 new ships were introduced to the game. People who backed and purchased the Origin Jumpworks M50 and 350R can now take to the skies or space with these 2 beautiful ships. I don't own either of these myself, so there's not really much else I can tell you about that. But they are very cool, they are very fast, and I am very jealous of anyone that actually has one. With those 2 racing-oriented ships came the actual race mode. Now players can rest their trigger fingers for a bit and instead compete in the Murray Cup race mode. Though I could take the Trainer 300i out and try it on the track, I haven't just yet, and I'll probably get into why a little bit further on in this video. This patch was also supposed to bring with it the private lobby so you could set up matches with your friends or organization members. They have unfortunately taken this functionality out because, from what I understand, private instances of a game that were created were not closing, and seeing no one could join them, they were causing unneeded load on the servers. So until they can get that fixed, they've gone ahead and rolled that out. However, though private matches were rolled back, the introduction of the friend code system or match code was introduced. Now when you enter a match, you will be displayed a code that you could give to a friend or an organization member so you can try and join your match if it's not already full. But we don't have private lobbies. I think this is a good in-between while we wait for them to fix that up. Also, new hangars were introduced to the backers. All previous hangars were given a facelift, and for those of you lucky enough to have multiple hangars or qualify for multiple, you can now set which one you will be your active via robertspaceindustriescom. Go ahead, head into the game, check it out. I also believe the asteroid hangar was released to everyone for the first time. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. Go ahead, yell at me, it's fine. Now, I don't know if this was mentioned anywhere in the patch notes, but I seem to have gotten a boost in performance from this patch. Previously, in order to record footage using NVIDIA's Shadowplay, I had set the game to low. The multiplayer, I was running the game on medium if I wasn't recording, just to give myself some reassurance that I wasn't having crazy frame drops or hang-ups, and I could be competitive. However, once the patch actually came out, all my settings had been reverted, and I hadn't noticed, but I was running the game on very high, and I know I had done a few matches of Battle Royale, and I didn't really actually seem to have any problem with hang-ups or ridiculously low frame rates. However, just for the sake of being on the safe side for this recording, I went ahead and put it back down to medium. I turned it down to medium, but with the recent announcement of NVIDIA's 900 series, I don't think this will be an issue in the future. I intend on picking up a 970 with plans to upgrade my PC and get a second one to run an SLI at a later date. But the 970 is very attractive to me, especially because it runs on a 500 watt power supply, so I wouldn't have to really upgrade much other than that. And the price point is amazing. Now for the controversial portion of this update. I'm sorry, someone may get offended. I do not care. Many people were eagerly awaiting the changes to the flight model that version 0.9 would bring. However, now it seems to have thrown mouse users and joystick enthusiasts at each other's throats on the RSI forums. The maximum movement speed of all ships was increased. With this, a more frequent blackout redout rate can be noticed in the game, even with G-Safe on. I don't know if this is intended to be a thing going forward. I think it's just something that will be adjusted and will be less prominent if you have G-Safe on, but for most of us, we fly with G-Safe off anyway, so it's a thing, because you're moving a lot faster now. However, this wasn't what put mouse users and joystick enthusiasts at ends with one another either. They basically set it so now you actually have fixed weapons that fire on a forward position, or a gimbaled weapon that if you're using track IR or a mouse has a range of motion that can be used to get a better firing solution. Due to this, joystick enthusiasts feel that mouse users have been given an unfair advantage over them because track IR isn't working great, and they must fly using a fixed aim no matter what, unless they were to switch to joystick in one hand and mouse in the other instead of their preferred throttle, I guess, in the other hand. All this to me is complete and utter bullshit. All the changes in the flight model, probably more exist than I've even mentioned, have been strides, in my opinion, in the right direction. The game is much harder now. I'm complete garbage with fixed weapons, and my gimbal cannon doesn't have the greatest time to kill. This session of Vandal Swarm that we're watching clips of actually went on for 60 minutes. No, I did not reach wave, 13, but it went on forever. Because I can't hit shit with my fixed gun, and the gimbal takes forever to kill anything. Now, I'm having to relearn how to handle my ship from square one, and I'm okay with that. I'm having to learn how to use the new targeting system as well as fixed weapons, which is not going great, as I keep mentioning. But I'm okay with that. This is all making the game harder to learn, but more rewarding in the end of the day. The fights go on longer, it seems like you're having to use more maneuvers, etc. But, however, now some folks are calling for the removal of gimbaled weapons so joystick users can compete against the precision of a mouse. Others are demanding CIG allow the option for determining which input device you use to be a criteria for which instance you drop into in the persistent universe. This is insanely premature doubt. Listen, folks, it is time to chill the fuck out. Let's remember that what we're playing is an actual alpha of a game. Not the bullshit given to you when you purchase a Founders Pack for most MMOs, where most of the core systems and mechanics are already designed and implemented in the game. You're not even going to get much change from your feedback, if any. This is actually an alpha. As we're sitting in this very small slice of Squadron 42 and Arena Commander blowing each other's trainer ships apart, or being blown apart, primarily in my case, the folks over at CIG are still working on these very mechanics actively. This was even made reference to by Chris Roberts on his most recent 10 for the Chairman. What you're getting yourself into when backing Star Citizen is a truly unique experience. You're able to test alongside the developers and see through various community outreach platforms their thought process behind a lot of the design of the game. What that means is, this shit is going to be rocky, guys. Game balance is not something that can be completed in a day. This will take time. It does take feedback from the users, so yes, do go on the forums and give constructive feedback about what is or isn't working on the new flight model for you. They need this information to make it better. But it's going to take them time to make it better. Dota 2, arguably the most balanced game in the world. Sorry, I'm biased. League of Legends fans, deal. Wasn't created overnight. The game's been out forever. Street Fighter, also, great balanced game. Been out forever. And on that note, if you really want to talk about input devices giving people an edge, so on, it is argued in the fighting game community that the best input device is an arcade stick because it gives you the best chance for reliable execution. And this year's EVO 2014 winner won using an Xbox controller. So skill can defeat input devices. Get over it. Please, don't prematurely throw your hands up pissing and moaning that they nerfed the joystick users or the game pads or the mouse. They have always said that they want to design this game to be controller agnostic. They will continue to work towards that goal. They need your help through thoughtful feedback, not pissing and moaning. Let's not forget that this Arena Commander game mode also has no ramifications. People aren't as cautious as they would be if their ship was actually on the line. If one of their however many lives was actually on the line. People are pushing the throttle down and going balls to the wall in most cases, so chill out and have fun. If you can't have fun, then take a break from it. You could always go and download ArcGauge and hang out in the server queue. I hear it's a blast. On a lighter note, I personally have been having a blast trying to learn this stuff. I've been even more motivated to jump into Arena Commander since joining my first organization, thanks to McCarty after his reference on the Core Gaming podcast. I've joined up with Apex Continuum, who I will link to their site in their Robert Space Industries organization page in the comments or description of this video. They're an organization that believes in honor in the marketplace. They have several divisions for those looking to strike out in the verse, seeking fame and fortune. We have the mercantile, exploration, mining, and salvage division, as well as the esteemed security division that yours truly is a member of and will be committing his 325A2 full-time. They're a great bunch of folks, very welcoming, very down-to-earth and mature. I literally had just put in my application, followed their instructions on the site. Within a timely manner, I was reached out to, my applications were accepted. I was encouraged to head over to the forum and introduce myself, talk a bit about what I do, and I was given the opportunity to talk a bit about what I do with my YouTube channel and so on. Was also encouraged to jump onto the TeamSpeak because they have regular meet and greet nights so people can get together and introduce themselves to one another, talk Star Citizen news, and so on. And it was great to, after spending the day reading the Robert Space Industries forums and dealing with a bunch of people pissing and moaning about this being nerfed and that being nerfed and the controls are too hard, it was great to get together with a bunch of people that were still really excited about the game, still understand that the game is an alpha and it's going to take time to learn and relearn as they make balance changes. But hopefully, I plan to edit the rest of the Swarm run because I'm sure no one wants to sit here and watch 60 minutes of me fail miserably. So until that time, I guess this is where we call it a deal.